Welcome to the Folkkeeper's Hearth, where wild tales and whispered legends bloom like spring blossoms on the branch. Today we turn our gaze to the apple tree, specifically to its delicate blossoms, which signal the turning of the season and the fruit yet to come. Though many think first of cultivated orchard apples, it is the crabapple, Malus sylvestris, that is native to the British Isles. Found growing in hedgerows and woodlands, the crabapple tree is older than recorded time, its twisted limbs and fragrant blossoms bearing witness to centuries of story and song. In spring, its blushing pink-white flowers light up the greenwood, a quiet herald of warmth and plenty. In Celtic and Anglo-Saxon traditions, the apple tree was sacred, a symbol of love, renewal, knowledge, and the other world. The Druids are said to have revered the apple as a tree of prophecy and poetic inspiration. Crabapples, small and tart, were thought to be protective and magical. Placing one beneath a pillow was said to bring dreams of one's true love. Apple blossoms, especially those of the native crabapple, were woven into garlands or placed upon maypoles to honor the fertility of the land. In this way, the apple flower was bound to Beltane rites, festivals of blossoming, warmth, and awakening desire. As cultivated apples, Malus domestica, took root in Britain, brought by the Romans and later enriched by countless generations of orchard keepers, the old stories did not vanish. Instead, they flourished alongside the fruit. In Welsh myth, the Isle of Avalon, the Isle of Apples, was said to be a place of healing and eternal youth. In Irish legend, silver apple branches could lead one to the other world, their blossoms ever fresh, their fruit never failing. In Norse tales, too, apples hold a place of honor. The goddess Idun keeps the apples of immortality, feeding them to the gods to preserve their youth and strength. While not native to Scandinavia, the symbolic apple clearly made its way north through cultural roots and poetic imagination. Apples have long represented a bridge between worlds, between the wild and the cultivated, the living and the spirit realm. To see an apple tree in full bloom was considered a blessing, a promise of sweetness to come. In some parts of England, particularly in the cider-making counties of Somerset, Devon, and Herefordshire, a lively old custom known as apple wassailing is still practiced, though now usually held in midwinter, around Twelfth Night. The rite is a seasonal spell cast far in advance, meant to stir the sap and coax the trees into bearing well when the time comes. Traditionally, villagers would gather in the orchards with lanterns and cider mugs, forming a circle around the oldest or most fruitful tree. They would sing songs, recite charms, and offer libations, pouring cider on the roots or into the hollows of the bark. Toast soaked in cider was often hung in the branches as an offering to the robins, who were believed to carry the souls of the dead, or perhaps offered to the spirit of the tree itself. One old wassail chant goes, "Here's to thee, old apple tree, whence thou mayest bud, and whence thou mayest blow, and whence thou mayest bear apples enow. Hats full, caps full, bushel, bushel, sacks full, and my pockets full too." The clashing of pots and pans, the stamping of boots, and the rousing song served not just to wake the trees from winter's slumber, but to ward off harmful spirits that might hinder the harvest. Though now seen as quaint tradition, wassailing likely echoes ancient animistic rites in which trees were honored as living beings, conscious and sacred in their own right. In pre-Christian Europe, Groves and individual trees were venerated as homes of deities, ancestral spirits, or elemental powers. The apple tree, especially with its yearly cycle of death and rebirth, blossom and fruit, was a natural focus for such reverence. Wassailing, then, is more than festivity. It is a lingering remnant of a time when Northern Europeans saw themselves not above nature, but within it. A time when one sang to the tree, not merely to charm it, but to enter into sacred relationship with it. Apples were not just symbolic either. The fruit of the crabapple was used to make cider, jellies, and medicine. Their wood, hard and durable, was carved into tools or charms. Apple blossom water was once believed to soothe troubled hearts, and a flowering branch brought indoors could lift the spirits and guard the home. Some believed that a blooming apple branch placed in water on May Eve could reveal omens of love or fortune by morning light. And of course, there's the deeper current. Apples as fruit of knowledge, of temptation, of wisdom, both feared and desired. But in the older stories, before moral judgments took hold, the apple was simply a fruit of magic, of beauty, of wild insight. English poet Robert Herrick wrote tenderly, "Fair pledges of a fruitful tree, why do ye fall so fast? Your date is not so past, but you may stay yet here a while, to blush and gently smile." A similar reverence is echoed in the gentle verses of Eleanor Fargen, who wrote, "I know a little tree, hush, be still, it grows on a green hill. It has a veil of white, so soft, so light, a wind might almost blow it out of sight." In these lines, the apple blossom is not merely a flower, but a fleeting spirit of spring itself, so light and ethereal it might vanish with a breath of wind. Fargen's imagery speaks to the enchantment of the season, when the orchard seems to hold its breath, and the branches wear veils fit for a woodland bride. Even Shakespeare called upon the apple tree's magic, invoking the singing apple as a charm for dreamers and fools. So if you chance upon an apple tree in bloom this spring, whether wild, in a hedgerow, or tended in a garden, pause a while. Watch the way the petals catch the breeze, and let your thoughts wander back to times when the apple was not only food for the body, but for the soul, the heart, and the imagination. Thank you for joining me here at the Hearth. In our next Flora in Folklore, we'll explore another flower with roots in story and spell. If you've enjoyed this journey through the lore of the apple blossom, be sure to subscribe and return. There are many more tales to share. Until next time, may your days be touched by blossom and breeze, and may the whispers of the old ways linger close.